G'day guys, Casey here from Lured In Fishing. Today I would like to go through what I like to look for when selecting an entry-level light tackle bait fishing rod and reel combo. So if you're just getting into fishing, it's your first time heading out there, you're looking at picking up a combo that's a little bit better than what you might find at Kmart or something like that, I would highly recommend heading down to your local tackle shop. You're going to have a much better selection of bits and pieces and still some really good affordable options. So when I talk about light tackle and bait fishing, we're covering a lot of different species. So we can be looking at things like bream, flathead, whiting, trout, redfin, even just carp down the local creek. There is a massive range of light tackle species that an outfit like this can cover. Can be used for saltwater, estuary and freshwater fishing. So, a couple of things that I like to start with when looking for an outfit for this type of fishing is the rod. With the rod, I will normally look for something in 6'6" to 7 foot, maybe 7'3" at the maximum length. Something that's not too big to handle. Something that I can kind of fish in all sorts of areas. It would be suitable for lake fishing, suitable for a bit of rock fishing, bit of river fishing, some skinny water stuff, maybe if I'm freshwater fishing for trout. That's where I find those 6'6" to 7 foot rods really come into their own. Obviously, if you're a little bit younger, you might want to look at something a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to handle. If you're casting the thing around all day, you might want to go for something 5'6", 6 foot, depending on your age and your size. Now, as far as rods go, you're going to be dealt two hands. You'll have the option to go a fiberglass rod or a graphite rod. Now, if this is something that you're just getting into and just starting out on, I would highly recommend to look at fiberglass rods, especially for bait fishing purposes. They really excel for that kind of thing. Fiberglass offers extremely good durability also. So when you're just starting out fishing, you might not be too careful with your stuff. You might find yourself in situations you haven't been in before, whether it be storing those rods away, strolling through the bush while holding your fishing rod, climbing down the rocks, etc. So fiberglass is going to offer something that's going to be super durable, it's going to last a really long time, and you don't have to be too fragile with it. Graphite is a really good option also, as it is really nice to use. It's often a little bit lighter in the hand, but be mindful that it is a little bit more delicate, and you do have to be a bit more careful with the kind of weights that you're actually putting off the rod, off the tip of the rod there. Glass is also a lot more forgiving if you're kind of overloading that rod with weight. Any of those situations where you might accidentally high stick on a fish, it's got a much less chance of breaking than a graphite rod. So for entry-level bait fishing, I think fiberglass is definitely the way to go. Whether you choose a one-piece, two-piece, three-piece rod, entirely up to you. Obviously depending on how you're going to transport it around and what's convenient for you. Two-piece rods, great for transporting. They break down in half, two small sections. We can throw that in the back of the car. Absolutely no worries at all. Now, when we're talking the weight of our rod, for our light tackle applications, so fishing for stuff like bream, like trout, like flathead, we're normally looking at the lighter end of the spectrum. So anything from 1 to 3 kilo up to about 2 to 5 kilo, 3 to 6 kilo is usually ideal for most of your general purpose light tackle applications. In this case, this particular rod here is a 2 to 4 kilo, absolutely ideal for that. So we're looking at this particular rod is a Shimano Aquatip. It's a 6'6" two-piece, 2 to 4 kilo rod. So ideal for our light applications when it comes to bait fishing. Going to be really durable and easy to travel with also. When we're talking about reels and matching this particular rod up with a reel, you'll often be presented with combos that are pre-made. Usually the reel that comes on that combo will be suitable for that sized rod. If you do find yourself looking to spend a little bit more, get something that's probably a little bit better quality, you'll often be presented with the option of purchasing the rod and the reel separately. Now, if you do that, knowing what size reel to match up with this particular rod is usually going to it's actually quite easy. I find the best way to do it, especially with rods that are say 1 to 3 kilo, 2 to 4 kilo, 3 to 5 kilo. What I would often do is be mindful that reels come in different sizes, but they all go up by thousands or 500s. So essentially our smaller size reels are 1,000 size, our next biggest size is 2,000, our next biggest size is 2,500, next being 3,000, so on and so forth, up to our really big reels up to 10, 20, etc., 20,000. So what I like to do with our 1 to 3 kilo rods, if we said that was 1,000 to 3,000, instead of 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, we're saying 1,000 to 3,000, which really indicates that somewhere between a 1,000 size and a 3,000 size is going to be a great match for that rod. If we're talking a 2 to 4 kilo rod, we can change that to 2,000 to 4,000, and that's once again going to give us a good indication of the size reel that's going to be suitable for that rod. In this particular case, I've got a little 3000 Shimano FX. Nice, entry level, smooth little reel. Perfect for bait fishing, and if I start getting into it a bit more, would also be ideal for some lure fishing applications. Now, when selecting our line, what I would highly recommend doing is speaking to, once again, your local tackle shop. They will usually recommend a suitable line class to suit the rod and the reel that you've picked. We can also do it ourselves, and once again, quite easily. So 2 to 4 kilo rod, usually go a line class between 2 and 4 kilo. Now for bait fishing, I would usually go on the high side of that line class rating, so I would probably look at something that's 4 kilo, 8 pound, would be absolutely ideal for this combo, and that is actually what is spooled up on this reel. Now you'll be presented once again with two options when it comes to fishing line. Those options being nylon fishing line or braided fishing line. For bait fishing applications and for ease of use, especially if it's something that you're just getting into, nylon fishing lines are definitely the way to go. They're much easier to use, tying knots with them is much easier, you don't have to put a leader on them, etc. They're actually just a material that you could pretty much tie a sinker and a hook on and catch fish as it is. With braided fishing lines, you'll usually have to connect a leader to it. They're a little bit more fiddly when tying knots, and if you do get yourself into a bit of a tangle or a bind with them, they can be really, really hard to pick out and really hard to untangle. And braid definitely more so suits lure fishing applications over bait fishing applications. So, light nylon matched up on this little 3000 reel here of 8 pound or 4 kilo is absolutely ideal for our light bait fishing setup. So setups like these, pick a number, you can spend as much as you'd like. You can get away with something for $50 to $70. You could pick up an entry-level outfit like this. If you're spending $100, if you're spending $150, $200, you're going to get yourself something that's really, really good. So, light, entry-level bait fishing combo. Once again, 6 to 7 foot long rods, as many pieces as you'd like, depending on what suits you. With transport, looking at something that is 1 to 3 kilo, 2 to 4 kilo, or 3 to 6 kilo, and then a 1,000, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 or 4,000 reel to suit, and nylon fishing line from anywhere being 4 pound right the way up to about 12 pound, 15 pound would be about the most for our light fishing applications.